Hi, welcome to another edition of the Chess Files. The answers are out there. I'm James Eade of the Eade Foundation, but you can call me Jim. A little bit about me and a little bit about my foundation, then we'll bring on today's guest. I started by my dad. My dad taught me the moves of the game, and that's the typical way that people start to play. One of their parents teaches them something like that, and but I started playing in rated over the board chess tournaments in 1972, but no bonus points for figuring out why. But it was a very popular time in the United States to get interested in chess. And by the time I was a junior and senior in high school, I was able to win adult tournaments. So I was thinking I was pretty hot stuff. And I got to become a FIDE master. A FIDE master is a pretty strong player. It's a title that's recognized around the world, and I still thought I was getting to be pretty good. But then I started to fight with grandmasters. Oh my goodness! And I fought with them over and over again. And I'm just picking up this other thing. My producer's not helping. And yeah, every year I would fight with a grandmaster, and it turns out that they were too strong for me. It's Grandmaster Yermolinsky there. These guys were too strong. I could never become a grandmaster. So I started doing other things, organizing tournaments, writing. Chess for Dummies is the most popular book that I've written, and it's one of the most popular books ever written. And I've done a lot of other things, but I was 20 years on the U.S. Chess Trust, which is a great organization. I had a wonderful time there, but it was only dedicated to the United States. And I said, what about the rest of the world? Oh my goodness, we had to say no when the rest of the world would ask us for help. And the Eid Foundation is dedicated to building communities through chess. And it doesn't matter what country you're from, it doesn't matter what language you speak. You can start a chess community. If you have access to the internet, you can join the worldwide internet community. You can play chess with anyone, anywhere, anytime. But if you don't, and you have to build it where you are, and you lack the resources to build the community through chess, that's when the Eid Foundation can help you. And right now, we're pretty much all over the world. And we're just getting started. We started in October of 2019, and we think we can do more, but we can't do it alone. We need help. So this scrolling across the bottom of the screen, you see the website for the Eid Foundation. And oh, by the way, it's an award-winning website, best overall chess website, according to the Chess Journalist of America. So if you can go online and donate, we would be most grateful, very appreciative. That's a little bit about the Foundation, a little bit about me. What's the question of the day? The question of the day is, what has the impact of the internet and chess engines had on chess? Because the of the past was glorious. We loved it. And is that still the case in the present? And will it be the case in the future? And so I wanted to talk to my friend Sasha Starr. Sasha, thank you for being
Hello.
on my show. This is the 50th episode, Sasha, and I'm grateful for you to join me on it. And because it's a kind of a milestone, a round number 50. And I thought we should talk about what is good about the present, what problems exist, and what opportunities exist. Because the internet and chess engines have changed the nature of the game, have changed the levels of competition. So I have the it's easier for teachers to teach chess now because you can have multiple screens on your computer. People can zoom in to have access to that. So it's easier for the teachers to reach a broader audience, and it's easier to have access to play. And it's easier to learn. Like, kids today can go through 1,000 games when it would take me just as much, just less, more time to page through a chess book. Um, and there's more entertainment value in some ways where they can just log on and watch great players play chess. But there's also some problems that have been introduced, some things that we need to pay attention to with the dawn of the internet age. And I wanted you to tell me a little bit about what you think is some of the drawbacks, not necessarily that it's good or bad overall, but what are the things that we need to be thinking about in this new age of chess?
Okay, very interesting question, Jim. If you will think about the history of development of chess around the world, so in 17th, 18th century, and even probably first half of 19th century, chess was a game of privilege. Only privileged, well-to-do people could play chess, enjoy chess, learn chess, and so on. However, uh, as world became more democratized and chess started to get its way through the masses, and slowly millions of people started to learn and play chess. So today chess is on latest estimates by FIDE, well over 600 million people around the world play chess. Okay, that's a significant number. We are talking about slightly, almost probably, no, it's below 10% of world population, including kids, including
Hmm.
older people, and so on. So, so the proliferation of chess is incredible, right? Now, the development of internet made it even more popular around the world because now anybody with internet connection can play chess. He doesn't have to travel to closest club, spend a lot of time and money to get there, or so on. You can just go on internet and have most likely opponent of similar strength and enjoy the game. So that's another very significant factor. So now chess as a part of education, it's a greatest thing. I think chess should be a big thing in schools, similar to, for example, music programs. They
Yeah.
people benefit even if you will not become professional musician, but you will learn how to appreciate music. And you will start with, of course, the classical music of Bach, Beethoven, and it will help you to broaden your horizons and go into more contemporary music or so on. You can maybe even enjoy Shostakovich and Prokofiev. And even Schoenberg, but you need foundation to understand that. It's a very similar situation in chess. If you will start your education with the games of Anderson, Murphy, and
Yes.
slowly get your way to Lasker, Capablanca, and later on Fischer and Kasparov. And so you will see the wealth of the chess game, development of chess game, historical development of chess game, and so you need in chess two things. You need to be educated about chess. You have to learn how to play chess, and that will help you to appreciate chess. Because if you don't know the moves, you don't know how to play chess, you cannot enjoy all the development of chess. You cannot play the game. You cannot appreciate any online games or
No,
just anything. So this is a cornerstone: is education, chess
I
education.
agree.
Absolutely.
I I completely agree. Without the foundation, you can't see any aesthetic qualities in in the game, and just like
Absolutely.
in music, just your comparison is spot on.
Exactly, and you have to understand that very again a lot of similarities between chess and music is that in music the human ears are wired in a certain way that you can appreciate the classical music, especially of Bach and Beethoven. I'm not talking about different composers who are just great musicians like Chopin, Tchaikovsky, and others. But I normally start with Bach, Beethoven, because that's the real foundation of classical music. And when you go beyond that music of well, today's music, there is a lot of noise that I wouldn't even qualify as music at all. But even modern, a lot of modern music is a human ear is just not wired to appreciate this kind of music. And so in chess, if you learned the classical games of Capablanca, Leuchen, Lasker, Botvinnik, uh, up to Kasparov, then it's very difficult to understand and enjoy at the same time a game like one of the recent Carlsen's game was played e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6, a4. you cannot learn anything from that game. You cannot also enjoy that game because it's probably beyond what human brains being wired. It's a little bit beyond
Yeah.
that. So therefore, you are losing, unfortunately, this
So
part.
there's a disconnect between the great players of
Yeah,
today and our foundational understanding. So they
yeah.
can't
Well,
appreciate.
you may have an argument that they're forced to do that because a classical game has been explored to such a degree that it's very difficult to find a novelty in well-known
New
opens.
ideas. Yeah.
There also is the development of very strong chess playing programs, such as latest version of Stockfish and Alpha Zero.
Yes.
Slowly, you see now, if before people used basically them as a databases, the leading grandmasters, starting, by the way, with Kasparov himself.
Yes.
Then,
Yes.
with the further development, now is the opposite happening. Now, if before computer programs were learning from human beings how to play chess and so on, now is opposites happening. Now, human beings
Yes.
are learning from the machines how to play chess, and the
Yes.
move A4 is one of those things. So, but the question then would be, even if, say, Carlson plays A4, wonderful move, and by the way, he won this game in
Yes.
great style. But the argument could be made is that even Carlsen and all the leading grandmasters, they still have a lot of mistakes and blunders in their games. And then the question is, if they're trying to copy Alpha Zero and Stockfish to play perfect game, but still have blunders, unfortunately, and so on. So why do we need them when we can have real thing? Instead of imitation of Alpha Zero and Stockfish, we can have real Alpha Zero and real Stockfish playing a mistake-free game. Now, probably it's not going to be chess anymore because except Alpha Zero actually played quite beautiful games. I have the book where I studied all these games. It's fantastic games,
Yeah.
very
Game changer, maybe.
game
Yeah.
changer. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So the let's not to worry about the chess. Still will be there. Chess education is extremely important thing. However, I would think about something to involve people, hundreds of thousands of chess fans, millions of chess fans, instead of being passive onlookers on online grandmasters games. If somehow they could be part of it, to participate,
Yes.
that
Yes.
would be a very interesting development.
Now, before we get into that, I wanted to know what you think about this, what I call a false sense of precision. Like if you ask an engine to check a move and it says it's zero point 0.7, white is favored by zero point 0.7. I that what if it said it was zero point 0.6? What is how, zero point 0.8? To me, that's a false sense of precision. I don't know exactly what that means. Plus over minus was good enough for me growing up, and so I think that, and the one thing is that we're emphasizing nowadays precision and even a false sense of precision over beauty, and it's sort of a triumph of science over art. And chess, I loved it because it has components of science, art, and sport, and it's a wonderful activity that combines all those elements. And so I'm not saying it's science is bad, but the competition between machines were never very interesting to me. Although there are a number of people who are very interested in that. If they played the theoretically perfect game, I guess that would be interesting. But what I've always admired as a spectator is the competition between two individuals. And Fisher would talk about seeing the ego drain out of his opponent. And there's a moment in chess where you can see your opponent has been defeated even before they resign. And these are the things that are dramatic and are interested in people will watch and will people will. And if you add in the element of participation, it makes it even more exciting. And and of course you need the fundamentals to appreciate. When I use the word exciting, people think, well, watching chess is like, I might as well watch paint dry. That's because they don't have that fundamentals. But if you do have the fundamentals, you know how exciting chess can be as a spectator watching two gladiators going at it over the board. And when one it solves the problems of on the board better than the other, it's a triumph. When a machine does it, I don't feel any excitement at all. So um, this is what I think we've lost a little bit about watching these people play moves that the computer has told them to play.
Well, let me state a few obvious things. With the internet chess, online chess, there is a huge problem that has never been solved yet. It's cheating. When people are using a strong engine and therefore because of that they're winning, and especially when we are talking about some money tournaments and so on. So that's proliferation of cheating is enormous. So this is a huge problem right now. Now, there are suggestions that it goes as high as the top Grandmasters tournaments, that it's there. And I thought about it, why it's not there. Are they such a perfect human beings? Are they such honest people that they will never do it? No, I never thought so. But the perception was that their status is so high. As long as they wouldn't risk to pick up extra $50,000, they will go into cheating or so on. And then I thought that, well, you know what? Some people probably for 50,000 or so dollars may compromise somewhat, especially if they would think that, well, of course I can play honestly, but my partner will use program anyway, so and he will defeat me, so why should I be so naive and maybe as a precaution to use it themselves. Now
Oh yes,
there is no
yes.
evidence of that, and that's what makes cheating so difficult to defeat because it's very difficult to prove. But all you can say is that it's a big problem. Number two, I wouldn't be so concerned about this estimation of position as plus 0.6, 0.7, or so on. I think anything below 1 is nothing but noise. I can tell you I've seen drone positions, deadly drone position with repetition of moves. And yet computer shows that one of the sides has 0.8 advantage. So it's noise, absolutely. Now, speaking about the beauty of chess, you must enjoy, I would think, games of late Michael Tal.
Oh yes,
He was a pure genius, and if today you will analyze many of his games with computer, you will see of some of his moves there would be a number -3. And
yes,
so they would criticize this move heavily, that it's a huge mistake and so on. But when you're sitting across the board, across
right.
against Tal, it's very difficult to find refutation. And let's see, Tal could play more or less normal move, and probably the game would be end in draw. And so there wouldn't be this horrible number -3, -4, or something. But he did this move, so he took risk. I don't know. Some people believe that he did it on purpose. Some people believe that it was simply his style and he couldn't play otherwise. Although later in his life he played closer to Karpov's style, whom he was coaching in around mid 70s, no, late 70s, including match against Korchnoi and Bagia. So he was coaching Karpov, and he picked up a lot of things from him. And there was a huge amount of games where Tal was undefeated for, I think, over 70 games in a row. He was undefeated. Can
Wow.
you imagine young Tal? He would never done it.
No,
But who was a better player, the young Tal or later Tal? It's hard to
I
say.
have to. I don't have to tell you because I know you know this, but Phoenix said it. If Tal could just learn to program himself he would be unbeatable. And because he knew the talent was there, but he just didn't have the what Munich would think of as the self-discipline.
There was
And
also a similar saying about Petrosian. If he would learn how to attack, he would be unbeatable on
yes,
the board.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
At the same time, there is very interesting. I picked up it from Gena Sasonka book, where he's talking about Tal and Petrosian, and he's saying, remember the uh, coach of Tal was Koblenz, who was a sharp attacking player, and they had a fantastic relationship. And Petrosian's coach was somebody master by the name Ebralidze, who was very, very careful positional player. And they both later on became world champions. So what Gena Sasonka is saying that if Ebralidze would be coach of Tal and Koblenz would be coach of Petrosian, they would both be just mediocre masters.
That's great, but we're straying off topic, which is we want to get back to some of the things like we're seeing now, like Nakamura, for example, playing on a second move, Queen H5, which everybody like me who's taught a certain way knows is a bad move, but it's a way to get out of the computer analysis and to be able to play against the person across the board from you rather than computer. So if you're going to such desperate measures, isn't that something that we have given up because of the dawn of the computer engines and the like? I just think that if you have to go to such drastic measures to get your opponent out of the computer moves, um, something has gone wrong.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I think Carlsen found a great improvement with move a4 comparatively to Queen h5 because a4 is actually it's quite sneaky move. Uh,
Yes,
and
yeah, we both looked at it, right,
Queen h5 is not very sneaky move because
right,
White has to fight for equality in 2-3
right,
moves. But
right.
listen, Nakamura is Nakamura. He loves
He can do
interesting
it. Yeah.
situation. Yeah, yeah, he can afford to do it. If he would keep losing, if he would lose 12, 15 games in a row, maybe he would stop playing Queen H5. So apparently that's not the case. So Nakamura can afford to play Queen H5.
Well, I think it's just to be able to play the opponent rather than the opponent's knowledge, book knowledge, memorization skills, to get them to be playing chess instead of using somebody. I experienced this in the 1970s. I played a line in Sicilian that I knew pretty well, and we were both experts at the time. It was in mid 70s, and my opponent played a move that refuted a variation that I thought was completely sound. And he told me, yes, this has been published in the latest edition of 64. Oh, I didn't get 64. And I had never seen this refutation before, but he had. And then I started to play different kinds of chess. So I didn't get into these lines that were heavily analyzed so that some Russian grandmaster move would beat me instead of the guy across the board from me. And now we're seeing more and more of this deviations from the norm just to be able to play a game of chess, to play your opponent rather than some some chess engine. But it's always been a part of chess in the late half of the 20th century, and it's exploded in the first part of the 21st century.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
So, do we have any idea what can be done about this? Um, how do we make chess popular again? Something that for a spectator, somebody to watch something that is more interesting, because I think the last, well, not it's not true, but the Karpov Kasparov matches were fascinating to me. I used to play per minute charges to be able to follow them in real time. They were so dramatic, and I went to the Hudson Theater to watch the match in person because it was just so, and I live in California. I went to New York to see it because it was so dramatic. To me, I was a I was a fan, and that's also my it feels like I've lost my fan attachment to the games that are being played today at the highest levels.
Okay,
They're not as exciting.
few thoughts on that. In the times of Botvinnik and Fischer, later on Karpov and Kasparov, or even earlier grandmasters like Capablanca, Lasker, the idea was in chess to find the perfect move. And that was basically a cornerstone of not only strong play, but to enjoy the game. And you could find the best possible move in a position. That idea was killed by computer programs like Stockfish, AlphaZero. There is no way that people can find a perfect move. Machine can find it. People can't. They can by chance to do this move here and there, but consistently. That's why
Right.
machine will outplay the best human players, and its rating should be probably 5 to 600 points L higher than even world champion. So that idea has been killed. It's no longer there. So if somebody says, "Oh, I want to enjoy chess and find the best possible move," go to Stockfish, go to AlphaZero. You don't need grandmasters to show it to you. It's right there. Okay. Now, about watching these so called imperfect games with mistakes and blunders and so on, now you need a reason to follow this game, which sometimes is 2 hours, 4 hours, doesn't matter how much, and very few people have so much time to do that. So sometimes, okay, you follow the game for 10, 15 minutes, then you go to do
Yes.
something else,
Yes.
and you're coming back, seeing, oh, it's about almost the same position. You're going back for another half an hour, then coming back. Oh, yeah, there was exchange, okay. Okay, so then you can leave waiting for another exchange. Fine. However, if there would be opportunity for average chess players not only just watch the game, but participate and become part of the game, this where the model of democratic chess comes in. So
I
now
get
people, instead of just keep and staring and watching this game for hours, they are becoming players. They are now creating something what is not created over the board. And that in fact becoming the pinnacle of the game, your ability to predict the moves before, of course, they're made over the board.
well.
You
Tell me a
never
little
can
more
do it
about this.
better.
How do they become participants?
Okay, very simple. Once contest is about to start, you can all register and become a participant of the contest. Now we are preparing the World Championship for move predictors with a very, very big prize fund, anywhere from $500,000 and more.
Well, let me change this scroll across the bottom of my screen
Sure.
from my website to yours,
Okay.
because this is where they would go to register, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
chessstars.com.
Okay.
Now
Okay. Go ahead.
the site is being upgraded now, preparing for
Okay.
a world championship. So, however, tomorrow, if you're interested, you can go tomorrow at 3 o'clock. There will be a presentation of a recent contest game between Grandmaster Alexei Shirov and Alexander Donchenko. It's a
Uh-huh.
fantastic game where Shirov played the incredible move knight h7, which nobody could predict, and
No.
he won the game in very good style. So that's and there were about 100 participants, and this was highly interesting contest. So basically, the World Championship will be there will be Grandmasters games with the Grandmasters commentaries. So you have a wealth of information. First of all, you see position itself. Second of all, you listen to commentaries. Third, you see the top three suggestions by Stockfish. So there is no need to cheat because
Right.
everyone can see the top
Can
three moves.
see the same
They're right
information. Yeah.
displayed for you on the board. So there is no way to cheat on this contest. So you need to make two problems to solve. One problem is which move to select as a possible move will be made. And number two, how many crowns to put on this move, because there are five 25 and 100 crowns you can possibly bet on each and every move. And there are a lot of strategies, especially, let's see, when you are leading in a contest, let's say even in the first place, because it's all displayed, the top 10 players, how many points they have, the crowns. I mean, it's all displayed after each move. So you always know your standing, how many
Yes.
crowns you have, and the top 10 players. So now, of course, if you are behind, you might put 100 crowns on each move trying to catch. And when you're in the lead, it's more complicated because now you want to
Right.
preserve your lead and you
Right.
want to now play five, maybe 25 crowns, but your closest rivals, they're going to put 100. And if
All
they
right.
predict the right move, they will very quickly to catch you and even go ahead of you. So
Yeah.
this is quite a dilemma. What is the right? I played, of course, many contests myself, and I won about four contests, but I don't have algorithm how to how to win this contest. I really don't. And I asked many people, and no one could consistently win this contest. It's very challenging. It's very difficult. By the way, when we just started, Gary Kasparov endorsed this contest, and he was providing commentary on the first game uh,
Uh-huh.
on the contest.
So
So
let me see if I can set the stage correctly. You correct me where I get it wrong. You have two, say, grandmasters playing a real game, a contest between each
yes,
other.
online
And
real game. Yeah,
so, and everybody can see the game and they can see the moves. And the idea is to predict the next move, like
yeah.
White's first move, will it be E4, D4? And you have to predict which one it'll be. And you can also wager on whether your prediction will be accurate. If you're 100% confident, you bet 100 crowns, the maximum amount. And if you're not so confident, you maybe 25. And if you're not confident at all, maybe five. And
That's your confidence. Number one, and number two, you're standing in a contest because
yes, but
sometimes your food,
early on, you would be saying
yeah.
it's just my confidence, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then as the game progresses, then you have people that are getting into the lead, and so now if you're not one of them, you got to catch up. So
Yeah,
now you got not only
absolutely right.
have confidence in your prediction, but you have to bet 100 crowns because otherwise you're out of it. So psychologically, you're forced to put more into the pot. And but if you're in the lead, you were describing how, hey, if you get conservative, people can catch you. So this is a fascinating psychological dilemma to find yourself in.
Now,
So it's combining chess, psychology, and the spirit of competition.
yeah, Jim, let's imagine that, okay, there is a game, Carlson playing somebody, Giri, for example, right? Okay, so you're watching the game for 10, 15 minutes and you're going to do something else, you're coming back to look at this. During the contest, when people are participating in the contest, they will not leave even for a washroom.
Of
They will
course
be
not. You can't
glued.
take a
They will be glued to the game because every
yes,
move
yes. I
matters.
love it.
And
Absolutely.
and why we call it democratic chess is because hundreds of thousands of people around the world, even millions of people, can participate and have opportunity not only to enjoy the game, not only to learn the game, chess, because after the game is over, there is an important post-mortem analysis by two grandmasters, which is very seldom that you can publicly, although now
True.
online there are a lot of commentaries and so on, but
Sure.
after once the game is finished and they discuss right online after the
And
game
what they were thinking. Yes.
what they were thinking, what they were looking at, and so on. So this is
Yes.
enjoyable. It's educational.
Yeah.
Plus, you can make a lot of money by
Uh-huh.
participating.
Yeah.
So that's why I love
And
democratic chess.
yeah, and also that anybody could win because of all the variables that we're talking about. You don't
Absolutely.
the strongest player, like you said, you didn't have an algorithm even after talking to people and playing a lot. There's no, the strongest player doesn't make the best predictor or the best wagerer.
I'll
So
give
it's a
you one
combination.
example. In one of the earlier contests, um, and we had a very strong field. And even Ashley Morris was playing. He was not playing the game. He was one of the participants of the contest. Yet,
Grandmaster Maurice Ashley.
and there was Gadir Gusainov was participant. You know who won the contest? Believe it or not, 11 years old boy from Vancouver with a rating 1500. What's happened is he was not doing that well, as you would imagine, but second last move, he put 5 crowns on very obscure move, which was not even strong move or anything. And in fact, that particular move was made. So with only 5 crowns, he grabbed all pool, where there were
The entire pot.
almost 5,000 crowns. He grabbed it all by himself because nobody else predicted that. And
So
moves, the game was over, so nobody could catch him.
so it doesn't matter if you're the strongest grandmaster. It's when you bet the most, when nobody else bets on a move that you bet on and it's played, you're the big winner.
Absolutely. So this is something. So there are two qualities. One is, of course, understanding of chess. Uh, some people
Sure.
used to prepare to the games. For example, if I would announce a game, say Sheriff Donchenko. So a lot of people who are planning to participate in concerts, they would go to study what they played lately, what kind of openings they played, what style, or so on. So that would already have people to help them to educate themselves and to understand chess better. At the same
Yeah,
time, enjoy it and learn something from it.
right,
And so at least in the opening, you feel like you're well prepared and it can help you.
right.
Big deal. Now, if you know and understand the style of Shearer, we would look for some obscure moves too. Even
Yeah,
they're
I
unlikely to be made, but still.
yeah, I'm not gonna bet on Shirov's moves. I'm not predicting them.
But I think you participated in the contest
I
when
did,
Shearer played, yeah?
and I bet 100 crowns on a move that I thought Shirov was going to play for sure. It's the obvious move to play, and he played a move that I hadn't even considered, which turned out to be even better, that and more forcing. And um, no, I don't know if anybody else bet on that move, but I certainly didn't. So I lost 100 crowns, and I was convinced that if I'm going to participate again, I don't want Shirov to be one of the participants. I can't predict what he's going to do.
But I want to tell you something. Another interesting situation arises when there is a move that nobody predicted. So all
Yes,
the pool of crowns is carried on to a next
over.
move,
Yes,
which basically doubles
excellence.
with the outcome.
Right.
And then in this situation, you can pick up a lot of crowns if you are right.
Yes. Yes. So you can go from middle of the pack to leader of the pack pretty
That's
quickly.
That's correct. So it is a kind of very interesting activity, which of course is chess related. It's based on chess for sure.
Yes.
But there is also some money management technique would help you as well to manage how many crowns to put and when
Right.
and on each move and so on. So that would help you a big deal, of course, too. And you found yourself when you played the second contest, you
Yes.
felt much more confident than in first one,
Yes,
right?
I did. I was pretty middle of the pack the first time, and I learned a great deal. So I was much better the second time around, but I still wasn't the winner or leader of the pack. But I learned a great deal, and what I really want to do is echo what you said earlier. Um, is that you're glued to the game. You're glued
Absolutely.
to every
The
single move.
involvement is great, and the level of your participation, enjoyment of the game, ability to learn something about chess is much greater than anywhere else. And also, it shifts focus from grandmasters to masses who enjoy the game, trying to predict the moves and make some good money by doing that. So this
Is
is
there i- is
the
there a
shift
chat
is to,
element?
sorry.
Is there a chat element? Can
Yeah,
people
yeah, people can chat for sure.
Yeah, because if I got a big gain, I would probably put something in chat like "eat my dust" or something like that. Taunt the other players, and they would be doing it to me. So that's fun too. It's kind of like, it's an added feature in any time that you're participating in a mass event where there's lots of people. We do this in fantasy football all the time. It's one of those things where you're all competing, you're all good at it, you're all think you're going to win, and only one person can win. So most of you are going to end up not winning, or maybe there's a staggered amount that a payoff. First winner gets the most. Second winner gets the second place gets some. And do you
Yeah,
have it staggered that way? Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's what
Yeah.
we have. We have
Yeah. Yeah.
usually we have 8 prizes for top winners of the contest.
Ah.
But in the World Championship, it will be first of all there will be qualifying tournaments. In each qualifying tournament, the winner
Ah.
gets right into the final, where even last place is worth $1,000, and the first place is $100,000. And the people in qualifying tournaments, there is a second prize will be $500, $250, $100, and so on. So there are pretty good prizes for fans of chess. They don't have to be grandmasters or anything. So essentially, it's open to anybody. Anybody can participate. And it doesn't matter what's your physical strength, what color of your
Right.
skin, what's your religion, what's
What
your
country you're from, what language you
nationality or
speak.
country
Right.
or language. Doesn't matter at all. Everybody is equal and everybody can participate. That's why we call it democratic chess.
That's wonderful. It's a great idea. Sasha, that's about all the time that I have.
Sure.
Is there anything that I've forgotten to ask you about? This democratic chess is one way to take advantage of both the internet and the ability to have people from everywhere, any rating, participate in a competition that is live between two strong players. So you're combining education, uh, uh, the wagering aspect, the psychological aspects, and just the entertainment value and the fact that you're just glued to every single move, so that you feel like you're participating, you're involved. And this
Absolutely.
is what I think are the highlights. And if I've missed one, please correct me, tell me what I've missed. But I just love the idea.
And by the way, you don't need to be a member of national federation, and you don't have to be vaccinated as well.
Well, thank you, Sasha. You've been a great guest on my 50th episode. I look forward to speaking with you about this again and working with you to make
Absolutely.
this championship tournament happen. It sounds so exciting to me.
Yes.
And even if I'm not a winner, I'm going to have the winner on one of my shows.
Well, there will be a lot of publicity for the winners of this championship. There will be
Yes.
interviews, articles. There will be a lot of
Oh,
publicity.
I may not be popular enough to have them on my show. Thanks again, Sasha.
Thank you,
We'll
Jim.
speak with you soon. I'll
Keep
say
good
say
work.
goodbye now. Goodbye. Bye. All right. That was Sasha Starr with his idea of how to take advantage of the internet age in chess. And instead of like being someone like me who is complaining about, I've lost my fandom, he's doing something about it. So go to chessstars.com, check it out, see what you can, whether or not you'd be interested in it. And I bet you would. But this has been the 50th episode of the Chess Files. The answers are out there, and we broadcast every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And I hope you see me next week.